welcome to the next IPSE Freelancer News Roundup. I'm joined by Tom Purvis, who is IPSE's political and economic advisor. So shortly we're going to be talking about some good positive news regarding tax-free childcare, but first to some news earlier in the week about shared parental leave. So Tom, BEIS released some figures that showed the take-up for shared parental leave is as low as 2%. So there's just less than 300,000 couples who are eligible, and the government has spent a lot of money on promoting this scheme, but the take-up has been very low. Why is this so concerning?
So it's always concerning when the government is spending money and then the uptake still ends up being low, because as we've as is now happening, the government is having to go back and spend further money. So the government has promised to spend an extra £1.5 million promoting this policy. And it's also concerning for people that have planned their parental leave around this policy, because with the take-up being so low, it always puts the policy at risk of being reversed down the line. So fingers crossed it won't get reversed, and fingers crossed we do see an increased uptake, and then we can stop spending money promoting it.
Mm-hmm. So why do self-employed people need really flexible options for parental leave?
So for self-employed people, flexibility is central to what they do, whether it be how much money they earn, how much money they save, and how they work, what hours they work. So what shared parental leave does is offers a level of flexibility that traditional maternity allowances don't offer. So with maternity allowances, you've got 39 weeks of pay, and if you choose to stop your maternity break, if you like, after say 4 weeks, you then just lose the 35 weeks. Whereas with shared parental leave, you can split it with your partner, and it just gives an additional dimension of flexibility that self-employed people do value and do use.
And in our response, we were quite concerned about this idea of keeping in touch days. What's the issue there?
So with an employee, if they go on maternity or paternity leave, they're guaranteed a job at the end of it, at the same level as where they left. Now, with a self-employed person, if they go on paternity leave or maternity leave, they get these 10 keeping in touch days. And what that means is, over this 39-week period, they are only allowed to spend 10 days keeping in touch with their business. So that means doing any admin work, doing any accounting work, promotional work, or even if they have to take a contract, they can only take a contract worth up to 10 days work. So it's pretty difficult to keep a business going when you can only spend 10 days out of 39 weeks actually working on your business. So the problem with the keeping in touch days is that it just makes it near enough impossible to continue your business.
So the tax-free allowance is £2,000. It's available for all parents, whether they're self-employed or not, providing the child is under 12 and the parent is earning on or below the minimum or living wage. That's obviously very good news, isn't it?
Yeah, this is great news, because what this does is adds an extra dimension of flexibility. So with self-employed people, if they have children, they are now going to, rather than have to spend all of this money on childcare, they'll get some of it back, which they can invest in their business, they can put away in saving for later life, for example. So it just gives, it doesn't penalise people for having children, which is great news.
So HMRC also stated that the income wouldn't account for self-employed people who have been in business for less than 12 months. That's also very positive, isn't it?
Yeah, that's good news, because for a self-employed person, as I touched on earlier, incomes fluctuate. So with other types of benefits, they have this sort of startup period of 12 months. So we're happy to see this 12-month period being applied to self-employed people as well.
So this is obviously a very positive policy, but what more do we want to see?
So what we want to see is that the government will actually sort of use this opportunity to drive flexibility forward. So as we mentioned earlier, we'd like to see shared parental leave extended to self-employed parents. We'd also like to see government standing up for the vulnerable self-employed, which we identified in our own report, and we put forward policy proposals that would help with that. So we think it's time for the government to stand up and actually back the self-employed people around the UK, because they are a growing population of the UK workforce, so the government is going to have to take note.
Thank you very much, Tom. So join us again next week when we're going to be talking about more issues that are important for you, the self-employed. And of course, because these issues affect you, if there's anything in particular you want us to discuss here, of course, get in touch with us. We're going to put the contact number of the press office on the bottom of the video, so if there's anything you want to discuss, get in touch with us and we'll try to talk about it. Thank you very much.